Hey there, welcome back to the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Another weekend, another protest. What was it about this time? Let's guess. Was it about deportations or something? No, it wasn't about ICE. Well, was it about Doge? Were we trying to free Palestine? Were we vandalizing Tesla dealerships? Oh, this one was about Social Security and Medicare. Oh, yeah, because that's what all the cool kids were worried about. Social Security and Medicare. It's called the Hands Off protest. Now, I had a little bit of heads up on this because I've gone ahead and taken it's adorable. You should do this too. I've taken the step of jumping into their spaces and getting on a bunch of their mailing lists and joining their Facebook groups and getting a bunch of alerts and their Reddit groups and whatnot. And so, have you heard of Indivisible? Do you know what I'm talking about? Indivisible with the capital I? Indivisible is one of these, community organizing groups, these Organizing for America or whatever, that was behind this protest. And this was called the Hands Off protest. If you don't know Indivisible, I've heard reports that they're funded by George Soros. Oh my God, that's so scary. But look, if you go sign up for updates and you see that they have like the signs, the 50, the hands off, and the O has like the red slash through it. And then you go look at the media coverage and there's people in 1,200 different locations all protesting the same theme with some of the same signs. I mean, could it even be possible that 1,200 different locations just decided to pick the same theme without some level of organization and some level of funding? These are not grassroots protests. Just the media coverage of this is just as pathetic as it is of the economy here. But of course there's a level of organization. Of course this is AstroTurf. Of course, and I'm not saying everybody that went out, the millions of people that filled the streets, all in cities all across America, of course not all of them were paid. Not half of them were paid. Probably not even 10% of them were paid. But there are organizers that are paid, and I've met them. I've gone to, and I didn't go this weekend, but I've been in talk radio for 22 years doing this stuff, almost 23 now. And when you go out and you try and get audio of these people, especially if you look like me, I mean, I'm a middle-aged white guy. I'm the last person they trust or want to talk to. And I'm not wearing a tie-dye shirt, and I don't have stinky white guy dreads. I mean, I look like what I am. Very stereotypical if you meet me. But you'll be talking to people and just getting some great audio. And some other, usually an older white guy, will come up to them and be like, I'm sorry. Please don't talk to them. They're not friendly. They're not friendly media, and they will then follow me around. And anyone I try and talk to, they'll shut it off. So that's the big reason I don't do this very much. Every once in a while, I'll go do some man on the street stuff, but they block you. Those dudes are paid. They are community organizers. I've sat there and I've been in the crowds watching without a microphone, just walking around with these people. And if anyone has a question, they'll be like, "Ask Rick. Where's Rick? I don't know. Do you need a sign? Ask Rick. He's got the signs." So there are people in charge. This isn't some spontaneous thing where everyone decides to, on the same day, at the same time, in the same place, meet up with the same theme and the same signs at 1,200 different locations. It defies logic. So what you're seeing is a small, organized, funded political action group who is getting the low information, easily swayed people with free time on their weekends to come pack the streets, pack Dealey Plaza, block streets, wherever, whatever town, to give the media an excuse to go out and get footage of it. And now they can spend half of their A block talking about to the other people that didn't go, see how everyone agrees with these people and no one agrees with Team Red. And they can take just a small, trifling minority of the population and make it look like the overwhelming mainstream thought. And after COVID that there's about 40% of this population that just does whatever they see on TV. That's the purpose of this. You don't affect change in the laws by doing this. It's not like, okay, well, we're going to vote on this bill today because of the protest over the weekend, or this bill's going to pass, or this law is going to change. It's all PR. It's all, I don't want to say propaganda because that word kind of gets overused. It's all just a PR stunt. But one thing that betrays the AstroTurf nature of this is how so many of the people, when you put a microphone of them, hey, what are you protesting? They don't know.
What are we protesting today?
Donald Trump.
Well, what's Donald Trump doing that we're protesting?
Well, he is
up the American democracy right now and trying to kind of repeal a bunch of in the Constitution, like, rights and liberties. So, all
right, just first sentence. Okay, when he's saying he's trying to repeal parts of the Constitution, what part of the Constitution is he trying to repeal? Is there even a real answer to that? Has anyone proposed an amendment that goes through the Constitution and adds or repeals part of the previous text that was already there? I haven't even seen that proposal. So what's he talking about? And then when he's talking about he's trying to get rid of rights, the only one they can think of is abortion. Everything else, what are you talking about? You don't even want me to choose my own straw, and you're worried about, they're taking away all our decisions to do stuff. But no, he said it all in the first answer. What do you hear protesting? He just says Donald Trump. That's the real answer. He's protesting that person. He's been trained Orange Man bad. He is bad. He is no good. I know because my favorite celebrity tells me, my favorite rapper tells me, my favorite actress tells me, my favorite TV show tells me, MSNBC and CNN tell me, and the people in most of the local news tell me, and all of the cute little girls that I hang out with in this hyper blue bubble on a college campus tell me, and they were all going anyway, so I just want to be like a cool guy and look like I care and know what I'm talking about. But obviously you don't. But I think that exonerates him. This isn't a bad guy. This is a guy that probably has a good heart, that thinks he's helping the world. He just hasn't studied more than 5 seconds on this. He's just a shallow fella. But he's probably a good guy. So let's go over to there was another Tesla vandalism story here where the police chief in, I think this was Bloomington or something, Chief Hodges says, listen, if you are one of these dupes, if you are someone who has been convinced that you're fighting against Nazis and you go scratch up a Tesla or burn a dealership, maybe the real culpability is with the people who are lying to you, kind of like inciting a riot, yelling fire in a crowded theater. If you do yell fire in a crowded theater, the people that panic and rush and crush and cause a melee aren't the guilty ones. The guy that lied about there being fire in the theater is the guilty one here, right? So if these people are incited to attack Teslas, are they really even guilty, or is it the people that are telling them?
Bloomington Chief Hodges here. Showed you this video last week of this person scratching his Tesla. And like SpongeBob said here,
what they lay down.
Thanks to everybody's help, we were able to identify them. The suspect here is a woman in their late 20s. They turned themselves in. They were brought in with their family. They've been fully cooperative. The victim in this case just wanted their car fixed, and they just wanted the suspect to pay for that. Based on the totality of the circumstances here, and along with our core value of being compassionate, this is the best outcome for everybody involved in this case. But let me be clear here. In Bloomington, you probably have never heard me utter these words. The suspect in this case may have been a victim, and I mean victim in terms of the rhetoric that is being spewed out here by some of those in leadership. We need our leaders to start leading and stop feeding this rhetoric.
Ooh, let me tell you what I like about that. There's a point to be made there. If there's a riot at a Tesla dealership and a bunch of cars catch fire, who's really at fault here? The people who were incited to riot, or the people that incited the riot? And if you come across on the latter, well then, does that make the media a bunch of people that incite a riot? Does that make anyone who calls Elon Musk literally Hitler guilty of inciting a riot? Maybe. I just don't know where to draw that line, but that actually makes quite a lot of sense here. If I was a lawyer, maybe I could put it down in black and white on where the line is, but we need to pursue this. All right, with all the prices and tariffs and market turmoil, one big sector that's kind of sweating bullets right now is home builders. We have Eason Makis on. He's a home builder. Welcome to the James Show. And you guys, you get your inputs from all over the world. Have you been hit with any speed bumps thus far?
We have not. We have not. As a matter of fact, our best months have been the last 2 months. We have had more phone calls. We've had more people house shopping. We've had more phone activity and sales activity than we've had in the last 2 years. I would say the last 2 years we've actually been, carefully use the word recession, because have been through the 08-09 housing crisis. want to tell you that our commodities have actually been at a lower price than they have been in the last 24 months. I will say with, cautiously optimistic that our lumber prices are $15 a square foot for residential construction, where during the COVID years, in the past 4 years, we've been paying upwards of $25, $26 a square foot. So we have not experienced any price increases. And actually, I can't tell you, we are in Northeast Tarrant County, so maybe there's a little bit of a insulation level from the national home building industry, but we've actually been very lucky and blessed that the last 6 to 8 weeks have been very good for the home building industry.
So what caused the slowdown in the first place? From what I hear, a big player in that was the rising interest rates on mortgages. Is that part of the problem?
Absolutely. And I also think some uncertainty during the election, the presidential election. And then I think people waited till the inauguration in January. We had a blip right after the inauguration of about 2 weeks of phone calls, and then it went radio silent again. So with interest rates, trending downward and, that being forecast, I think people are ready to make a move. I think the people that are ready to make a move right now have already been sitting on the sidelines, depending on what stage of life they're in. And I could go into more detail about that, but whether they're young, old, or in the middle, I think people at some point just kind of decide they've got to make a move, and they're tired of sitting in the middle of the fence. So maybe that's what we're seeing. But from a pricing standpoint, we've plateaued for the last 18 months on pricing. And so, this isn't a sales pitch. This sounds very self-serving, but this is a great time to be house shopping for something new. There's builders that are motivated because of that slow market the last 2 years. The pricing has plateaued. And, with a little uncertainty moving into the next few months, this is a great time to get out and at least explore the possibilities.
All right, Easton Makis, how do we find you online?
www.maykus.com, Makis.com, and we're located in Grapevine, Texas, and thanks for having me.
Hey, we got my next guest is going to be from Grapevine. We got Tim Young in the building. Coming up, Dead or Alive and Tim Young. But next, Bob Lavelle, Home Marketing Services, back on the James Show. Speaking of getting into a home, this is the guy that when you're ready to get out of the rent race and get into home ownership, this is the guy you call first. Welcome back, Bob.
It's always good to speak with you about, the thing I love doing most, and that's helping people actually get out of the rent race. And that's really what it is. The guy that listened to you, I talked to last week, he's listened to you religiously, loves your show. The guy is 68 years old. He's never owned a home, ever. Now he's going to own a home. I like that.
What took him so long?
I asked him that. He said he just had always thought he would do it, and he had that fear mostly of the rejection. And that holds back so many people, James, that it just blows me away. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? You come in, you're going to find out where you stand on qualifying, and the worst is they say no. And if they say no, they're going to tell you why, and then they're going to tell you what you need to do to fix it. I mean, it doesn't get easier than that.
Well,
and
yeah, you don't
they say,
you don't do any business with people who can't buy a home. You want them to be in a position to buy a home, so you will help them, put them on the right path to get there in just a few months. And that's what Home Marketing Services does, just above and beyond your regular real estate agent. Bob Lavelle, much more than that. Give him a call, 972-392-9595, 972-392-9595. Go to blessyourheart.com. Or I love hearing about the positive stories of James Show listeners getting into a new house through Bob. Go to 972-392-9595. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, James.
This is the easier of our game shows on the James Show. This is Dead or Alive. I'm going to list 10 celebrities, well, air quote celebrities. You have to tell me if they're dead or alive. This week's category is famous politicians. These are all politicians that you've either heard of or should have heard of. I don't know how well you are. But my next guest is actually showed up a little early, so he's going to play along with this, I figured this would be a cool addition. Welcome to comedian Tim Young. I mean, I say comedian, but you do like 8 things now.
I don't know what I do for a living anymore. I found your advertisement thing back here where you shout out town names, and I noticed that my hometown of Grapevine not shouted out for another 11 days.
Oh, that's just unfortunate. You're even wearing the Grapevine hat. You're such an advocate for your hometown, but. You're with the Heritage Foundation now? I mean, I knew you as a comedian, but I hadn't seen you do comedy in a while. You've been doing...
I don't do. Yeah. Why would I perform comedy when I can do serious policy for a living, James? I am the media fellow for strategic communication at the Heritage Foundation, and so we're helping kind of clean out, hopefully, and clean up things with Facebook, Meta, and Twitter. Trying to make things better for everybody and make speech freer.
Man, that hits me right in the heart, because there's a lot of us out there, myself included, who have wonderful, awesome, successful channels that got shut down for things that turned out to be true, and they never got restored. And so, how big would that be? You know, when we're trying to have the debate in the court of public opinion, it's kind of not fair if our debate gets shut down, but theirs gets to live on, even though they were wrong and we were right. Like, did they shut down any of the people that were telling you that vaccines can stop you from being contagious? No, they just shut down us.
Well, they would have had to shut down most of the federal government then, including Joe Biden and Dr. Fauci, because remember, you weren't going to catch it at all if you got the old job.
Right. Oh, so many complaints. All right, I look forward to that. Now, when we play Dead or Alive here, I want you to pull out, I don't know if you got a paper or notepad file or something over there.
I'll find something.
And just write down your answers, because you might ace this. As a guy who has to watch this more so than the average bear, this might be pretty easy for you. So
I don't know.
Well, yeah, I try not to make it too much.
Does Brain Dead count? Because I'm in Jasmine Crockett's district here with you.
Yeah, Jasmine Crockett's not going to be on the list. But no, if you have a pulse, you know, okay. I think even Kay Granger would qualify these days. She's still with us, isn't she?
Oh, good. Bless her heart, yeah.
Yeah. And for people who are listening, that wasn't a slight. We love her. She's a good person, just in a weird limbo there. So, yeah, if you want to... Oh, phone lines are full. All right, so we're playing today for tickets to see Billy Idol and Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Now, Billy Idol's headlining, but, I mean, that's got to be a just barely. I mean, do you have a preference over Billy Idol and Joan Jett?
First of all, good to know that they're both alive. But I would lean Joan Jett.
Yeah, I think Billy Idol might have had more hits, but if I only got to see one or the other, I think I would lean Joan Jett too. But that's not a slight to Billy Idol. He did that great cameo in Wedding Singer, so that was fantastic. But yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen the game before, but this is how it works. Garrett, get Bon Jovi to play our theme song real quick.
Garrett, you want to play the theme song?
Yeah, he's screening phones.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you, Mr. Jovi. Welcome to Dead or Alive on The James Show. This week's edition, Famous Politicians. 2 tickets to see Billy Idol coming to Dickies Arena May 7th. Special guest Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Get tickets and information at livenation.com. Or some lucky listener is going to get one from The James Show or get a pair from The James Show right now. Let's start with... I was looking for a grapevine for you, but we don't have one. We'll go to Nancy in Weatherford. You ready to play Dead or Alive?
Absolutely.
All right. How confident are you in your knowledge of famous politicians?
A little bit.
I don't trust Nancy here. I don't think she's going to do well.
That hesitation was very sus.
That was rough.
All right, let's start with former governor of Texas, Mark White. Dead or alive? He's dead. He is dead. Well done. Former Senator John McCain, dead or alive?
He's dead.
Smartest man in Congress, Hank Johnson, dead or alive?
He's dead.
Dang, lady, I said he's still in Congress. All right, hang on. Don't hang up. Let's go to Terry in Granbury. You're now up. Nancy dropped the ball. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Sheila Jackson Lee, the longtime Houston representative, Sheila Jackson Lee, dead or alive?
Alive.
No, she just died like a month ago.
Oh, God.
I know. It's that was a tough one because it's recent. We'll just leave that one there. Dave and Capel. That's kind of close to Grapevine. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Harry Reid, dead or alive?
Dead.
He is dead. Died in 2023. His counterpart for a long time in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, dead or alive?
Barely alive.
Yeah, he's still in office. I thought that was a funny one. Former presidential candidate, then Senator Mitt Romney, dead or alive?
Alive.
Former congressional VP ticket holder, Joe Lieberman, dead or alive?
Dead.
That's right, he's dead. Remember John Kerry's running mate? That seems like 100 years ago. Former Vice President Dick Cheney, dead or alive?
Alive.
But
Yes,
dead
he's-
inside.
Right, dead in his soul. And finally, Senator from California, Dianne Feinstein, dead or alive?
Alive.
Oh, dang it. So now it just cycles to Kelly and Cleaver. And Kelly and Cleaver, you don't have to answer anything. You just have to not hang up on Garrett when he gets your information. You want these Billy Idol tickets?
Yes, sir.
No, that's all you had to do. That's how easy it is. I've grown to love it when that happens. The no effort win. Because Kelly and Cleveland, all he had to do is call in and get on hold. And because, who was that? Sherry and Nancy and Dave dropped the ball. Kelly gets to win. Kelly probably doubted himself. Kelly probably like, I'm just going to get on there and embarrass myself. No. Kelly just walked in and did what you wish you could have done for no effort at all. Got tickets to see Billy Idol and Joan Jett and the Blackhearts.
I would have lost on Joe Lieberman.
Yeah, the Joe Lieberman one, I had to Google a few of these. But that's how it works here on Dead or Alive. Speaking of Bon Jovi, I watched Young Guns 2 this weekend. It's a fantastic movie. You may know my next guest from Twitter, from Heritage Foundation, or from any number of bazillion places where I've seen him. Tim Young's on the James Show. Welcome, Tim. How's it going?
Thanks for having me. By the way, I got to read your script here. WPAP salutes Grapevine. Grapevine, thanks for listening today on News Talk 820 WPAP and now on FM 93.3. You leave the script on the table. I'm going to read it.
That's fine. All right, so let's go ahead and get into your latest work, which spawned the conversation, who's the dumbest member of Congress. We'll get to that after we talk about this article. It's on the Daily Signal, but you addressed something that we had talked about last week on the James Show, this idea that members of Congress should be able to vote remotely if they just had a baby. And we came out against that. I think most of the callers agreed with me that proxy voting is bad, but I like the whole new level you took it to. Because, some people say, well, the slippery slope's a logical fallacy. Meanwhile, the UK is banning ninja swords. So we know the slippery slope can actually happen in real life. But yours is hard to argue against, Tim. If we start proxy voting for women while they're lactating, where does this lead?
Well, it's going to be labeled as a medical issue, right? So then it'll go to major medical issues. Then it'll go to less major medical issues. Then it'll be anything with a doctor's note, which could be, somebody's got a little anxiety about a vote coming up, so we can let them vote from home. Then it moves on to issues from your local district, major issues, then minor issues, then again, anything that could be deemed an issue in your local district. And people will be voting from home forever. These people in Congress, God bless some of them, work hard, but it seems that a majority of them really enjoy just taking time off, and that majority is the Democrats, and a couple of Republicans that went with them. But in this instance, thank God, cooler heads prevailed, and they worked a deal out with Mike Johnson to never bring it up again, basically.
Yeah, and so not only did they not win that, hopefully we're just done with this for at least a generation before people forget that this happened.
Imagine making, almost $200,000 a year, probably having a husband or spouse that can take care of the child, and also having on-site childcare and still saying you need to be home. I mean, what do you need? What do you need? Also, they work 147 average days a year. Time it out, people.
Right. Well, also, if you want to have a baby and you can't do both at the same time, maybe you shouldn't run.
Yeah. I agree. And that's exactly what happened with Secretary Duffy, Sean Duffy, when he was a member of Congress. I think he's got 25 kids now. God bless him. I need smart people to be producing children. But one of his children had a heart issue, and he resigned from Congress to go home and take care of the family.
Well, we had that easily devolve into who's the dumbest member of Congress, because one of the people bringing it up, some people may find this controversial, but you said Anna Paulina Luna, a Republican, probably among the dumbest, maybe not the dumbest, but you don't have a whole lot of respect for her intellectual well-being.
I don't think she's very bright. And look, God bless her. She's out there when she votes correctly. If anybody votes correctly on a regular basis, I'm for it. But when you start straying away, America, we almost lost America in November. If Kamala Harris would have won, where would we be right now? Probably you and I would be in a similar gulag. You'd probably have air conditioning. I wouldn't. But we almost lost this country. We barely won that election. We barely have a majority in Congress. And if you can risk President Trump's platform and his policy plans for this right now, it just doesn't seem America first to me.
Well, then the discussion is, if not Anna Paulina Luna, who is it? Well, that's easy. Until this guy is out of Congress, I think it's going to be Hank Johnson.
Yeah.
For those of you who aren't familiar with one of the greatest sound bites of all time, this is from 2011 when he thought Guam might tip over, as if islands are just floating out there like an igloo cooler.
My fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
Like, oh, damn, that is dumb, Tim.
It's pretty bad. I just got a text from one of our mutual friends that says Jasmine Crockett's the dumbest. I don't think that at all. I think she's incredibly intelligent. I think she just went with really terrible advice from an advisor that she should have said was racist.
I think that's good advice. Look at how it's catapulted her career. She is probably like the second most famous member of Congress for 2025. Who has done more Sunday shows? Who's done more interviews? Who's been on MSNBC or CNN more than her?
You know who truly I think the dumbest is AOC, and not just because she came in dumb, but because she hasn't improved. She's being pushed to the top of the ticket. And like, you would think that the people around you, they want her to be as good as possible so that she can maybe move up in government, do something else, probably run for president. I can't believe that's going to probably happen. But you would think that she would want to improve and listen to people and get smarter, at least read up and be prepared for interviews.
Well, it's a good chat, Tim. I wish we had more time. Thanks for coming on the James Show.
Yeah.
I want you to be a regular visitor.
Will do.
We need more outspoken leadership from the great city of Grapevine. Thank you very much for hanging out on the James Show. Mark Levin's coming up next. If you need more James Show action, come find me on X and Facebook and YouTube and the James Show podcast, WBAP.com, WBAP app. I'm James Parker. This has been the James Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.